Join us for our second annual Women's Leadership Summit hosted by Girl Bossed Up. I am Dr. Melissa Simmons, inviting you to unlock your true leadership potential with a day of insights, inspiration, and actionable strategies. Experience empowering talks from our incredible speakers, plus enjoy pre-registration special and get your seat at the table. This is a summit of a community of dynamic women learning, growing, supporting, and empowering each other to our next level. Don't miss out. Register now and elevate your leadership skills. I'll see you there.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to FEM Talk Tuesday. We are super excited that you are here. And tonight it is just the ladies of FEM Talk. So let me bring them in. We have Dr. Mimi Melissa Simmons.
Hello, out there, FEM Talk Nation.
And we have Shima Shishi Talk.
Hey, FEM Talkers, how you doing?
Yes, here we go. So listen, everybody, we normally start off the show with you know what, and I'm going to play it anyway, but we've got a show full of this. Hot topic. There's so much to talk about. So much to talk about. So we are so glad you are here. Hello to Mama Jeanette. Hello. We're so glad you're here. So we want to get into this conversation. We've got so much to talk about. You know how we do here. So we want to get into this right away. So let's take it away. What do you ladies want to start with tonight?
I think we should start with what we last talked about because it's still a hot topic.
It
is. Williams' conversation with Shannon Sharp, man, it's still tearing up the internet.
It absolutely is. And as I mentioned backstage, there was a rebuttal basically this morning. So to a radio show host who, this was on the back of the NAACP Image Awards. So a very popular radio show host got nominated for an Image Award with the NAACP. And his comment was in regards to this, that he so happy about the Image Awards and that because it's for us, by us, and he didn't say it that way, I'm saying it that way, but because it's for us, by us, just happy to get those accolades, happy for us to support one another in all that we do, and that he mentioned that there shouldn't be any backbiting, that culturally we are the only people who backstab, backbite, try to tear each other down, and that he said that he wished that was not happening. So I just wanted to mention that because I know that was a rebuttal. I think that was a way of rebuttaling the interview that Cat Williams had with Shannon Sharp
without actually targeting,
mentioning
exactly.
I mean, I think that's the sad part. I was talking about that recently. I was talking about at work how like other cultures in the Java map, they all stick together, but not us. We backbite and trying to tear each other down. No level of united support. Again, I think he mentioned it there. I was just listening to another show. They was talking about, we don't support each other. We are the one of the few cultures that do not support each other. We just don't.
Now I have a question about that specific person, those two specific people. And I think we talked about this last week when we said, sometimes it's just not, it doesn't make sense to address it or even acknowledge it. However, doesn't that make it seem like you won't address it because it could be true? And if you both have such a platform, what is wrong with inviting one or the other to discuss it, unless parts of it is true?
Well, can I respond to that?
Go ahead. You go first.
I got to respond to that, and I want to look at it from both perspectives, right? Because you guys know how I do, right? I want to look at it from both perspectives. Now, here on one hand, you can say, right, if I respond, right, if I respond to it, I'm giving life, right? Or maybe I'm being just as petty as the other person, and I'm going to make myself look bad. So I'm being politically correct in my response to it, right? So that's one side of it. And then the other side is pretty much the same thing. Because if I don't respond, if I just give the political correct answer, right, then it makes me look like, okay, well, I'm doing it just and not giving it too much life once again on the other side, right? Because it goes both ways. It's like either I can do more damage and be petty, or I can, still address it in this way and make it look like I'm giving a response, right? I'm just giving it from both sides on this politically correct response. And again, I'm putting up my air quotes on that.
Right.
And I had someone say to me, my significant other said to me, he said, well, isn't it better just to respond and tell the truth?
See, I was waiting for you to finish.
Right. How much can you be your
authentic self and be like, okay,
this
is what we're going to talk about.
Let me just say, you said giving it life. 55 million people saw it already. How much more life? I mean, now if you was really smart, you would jump on it. I would jump on it and give my rebuttal.
Well, so we always talk about this, right? You control your own narrative, right? However, what's said in an interview, that doesn't make it truth, right?
It doesn't.
It really doesn't make it truth. So if you don't respond, it's like, I don't need to exacerbate the situation by coming back. Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong because we don't know the truth, right? So I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Ignore, and we've seen it over and over again. And I even have a belief that every fight you don't go to, you lose.
Don't fight. Me either.
Every fight you don't go, you lose by default. You're not in the fight. So this is 55 million done saw all of this. Believe it, don't believe it. I find it interesting that all these people that do all this talking all the time got nothing to say about this.
Well, that's a good point right there.
Be on radio every morning. And talk about anything that come up about anybody.
But you don't talk about that.
Now that's a great point. That you make a great point with that. And that was another discussion that we had too. Is if you can discuss everything else, why can't you?
Why can't you discuss that?
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like you won't, because there's some levity to it. It's something about it that is true. I like you said, just because he got on there doesn't mean every bit of it's true.
Right.
But he touched on something that you don't want to bring to light, or that you don't want to continue to shine the light on. The thing for me is, you hit it right on the head. You have a radio show that you talk about, and I mean any and everything, stuff that we don't even want to know.
No.
But you're in this business, and you know that perception is 90% of what people are going to pay attention to. Not what the truth, not whether it is the truth or not. Perception is going to be the heavy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why are you not understanding the game that you've been in for so many years and not concerned about the perception?
perception according to one person too, right? Because like, I always try to go
No,
off the
public, not him, to us who follow you and watch you.
And watch you all the time. And look, I listen to
and
the
watch
Steve
you address
Harvey show.
everything.
Love the Steve Harvey show. Steve Harvey, let there be a hot topic. Steve Harvey talking about it.
Yes.
He had everybody else on his show. So stop. Address it. Do it from your perspective. To capitalize
and the way that you do it. That's right.
Capitalize on it. Why let the opportunity fly by? Capitalize it. I say the same thing when the whole thing happened with Will and Chris Rock. Chris Rock made his millions when he capitalized on that. They couldn't wait till him to come out to a rebuttal. That's what you do. That's the area you're in.
And he did it the way that he would do it. He did it in true Chris Rock.
Okay. So of course I have to give some more on that too. That was clear, right? That was very clear because that was something that Will did publicly. Right. It's something that we saw. It's something that Will did publicly. Here, we don't know what's true and what's not true, right? We really don't. Though we may believe Cat Williams, or some people may believe one side versus the other, we have no idea what is really true. So those two things are very different because
I think it's stuff out there. I mean, the slap happened. But there was so much behind what had happened in the slap that you there was a lot of truth or lies behind why. Like everybody was still asking the question, why did that happen? What could it be just that comment? And now we found out it was far from just that comment. That being said, there's always something to be said. And you could twist it any way you want. You could address it but not address it. And that's kind of even what
but that's what's been happening.
Right, he addressed it but didn't.
But that's what's been happening. So that's his way of kind of bringing it out and not really addressing it. So I don't think we'll ever get.
That was weak on his part.
Yeah, I don't think I like the response because it was more like we're not going to make this one against the other thing.
Yeah.
We're just going to make. But you still didn't. You still didn't address it, even though you thought you were. What you were saying was, I'm not going to say anything about that. And we shouldn't be at odds.
We shouldn't be doing.
He gave a corporate response.
Right.
It was too, and it was like, for one thing I thought he should have addressed was that the whole thing about the comedian and the comedy shows.
The idea of the show.
And address it. Say no, it wasn't, or it was something we talked about. Say something. It's out there already. You
know what? You're right. This one right here gets to me because also say something to the disparaging comments about Bernie Mac. Oh, I don't care if you don't agree with what he said about you. Yeah. It's a lie.
Bernie Mac. I mean, you owe him.
Don't do that. Don't. That's what really.
That bothered me too.
For no other reason, say something about the comments because it makes it seem like you did not respect or care about that man, but you acknowledge the fact that he was great in his comedy and his delivery enough to carry your show.
That's right, and that should have been addressed.
Say that.
I agree too. He God bless him. He's not with us anymore. His legacy will live on forever. But Bernie Mac earned both of them giving him his flowers. So he says, "I'll say this: Bernie Mac was the show. What does it matter at this point? Bernie Mac was the king. Was the king
made your money, and he always talking about his money.
Exactly.
So, money. Go ahead,
and that's part of what we do. So he could have did a couple of things and addressed it. That I think, yes, that Bernie Mac.
I don't like that blanket.
What they did with him, TD Jakes, no, they don't have to talk about that, the dresses and everything. They don't have to talk about that. But the other side,
don't beat him up. Don't beat him up.
I don't like that blanket. It's not warm and cozy.
But the other one, he could have went with it.
He can have it. No.
All right, so moving along because we can talk about this all night.
Already, right? It got hot and stayed hot.
Don't beat him up. Don't beat him up.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, I'll start with this one. I am boycotting the Oscars. I'm done. Had enough. Had enough. Had enough. For them to snub Color Purple, I've had enough. You have every, and I haven't watched all the shows, but forgive me, I'm making a general comment. You have every crazy, silly show being nominated, all these kind of things that only appeal to certain genres of people, and they always get it never fails to happen. They have some obscure movie that half of that one, not even 1% of the population have seen, and they're gonna take home all the Oscars.
Yeah.
And the things that people exactly that appeal to, that are good, that are great. That was a great movie. To have not have given it a nod is ridiculous.
It is
ridiculous.
It is. And I the people, the public. Why were the comments? These are the comments that drive me crazy. Who asked them to remake? Who asked Oprah to remake The Color Purple anyway? We didn't ask for a new version of it. The old one was just fine, and we didn't. And I am reading. I am stating what I read. And if we wanted to see it, we could watch the old one or something like that.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate. When all so many other movies out there, right, have been remade. Right,
it's that right. And not even done well. This was, and this wasn't a remake of the movie. It was a remake of the musical. And I think it did it justice. I mean, I love it. I love the you still have, and this is the ignorance people talk with. You talk about this kind of a remake. My children really didn't see Color Purple. They were too young when Color Purple came out. Okay. So for a younger person now to get into The Color Purple, Nick and his roommate and the guys in the house they all are together with, they went and saw The Color Purple, and they were all, and this is a mixed race, friends, went to see it and loved it. Had to admit, there was some tears at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And now it piqued their interest to go back and see.
There we go. The curiosity.
Exactly.
Well, let's see where this originally came from, because it also makes you, at one point or another, it makes you feel like, I wonder what the book feels like.
Yes,
because I've read and I saw and readers. Now I want to see what it looks like, just raw.
Exactly.
Originally written.
Yeah.
So it creates it creates a yearn to learn more about them if it's done well. And it was done
and well. It was done amazing. And I have to say, like, I'm not into musicals, to be perfectly honest with you, like musical movies. I'm not really into them. This was absolutely amazing. Captured my attention from the moment it started to the very end. The music was done so well. The mix of the drama with the music was done so well, and normally it's not. I'm just gonna say that from my own opinion.
It's normally overdone. This
was absolutely amazing. Yeah.
And you know what? Like like you say, we want to play both ends or play the devil's advocate. You mean to tell me that as wonderful and amazing as Hamilton was, you wouldn't want to see that as a movie?
Oh, come on.
And it wouldn't win Hamilton some awards.
Right. And take away. I mean, those are the things, but that's the creativity of these awesome creators of dramas, of art, creators of art. And to have done that. Sorry, to have done that so well. I know. It's that time of year, but to have done it so well. It shows you the hope of what else might you want to recreate. You know what I'm saying? And what else might you want to try out there? And again, we're talking about a generation ago. So for all of the newcomers, for all the Gen Z and Gen X, they get to see it now. So why not give them that opportunity? So I think
it wasn't so far removed from the original version, so you can appreciate it just as much as you appreciated the first one. And that's my rebuttal to that comment that you read, right? Because it wasn't so far-fetched.
Yeah, exactly. But it was the crazy part of, I guess, when you're not thinking, you miss the connection, the same connection we just spoke about. Well, it's new. I'm younger. I want to see it. It was good to me. Okay, this was a musical. I wonder what the other one looked like.
What the other one is. And one of the things because it was such a great conversation, and the guys were just, like, so what was Harpo like? What was, I said, you need to see it because but the real version, they're slightly depicted a little different. And there's certain things that we loved about the first one that really didn't come out. It came out differently in the second one. And then there's new things in the second one now that you kind of loved. Like, I really did enjoy the depiction of that Fantasia did of not a name one, Celie in the new one.
Oh yeah,
I kind of liked it a little more than I liked Whoopi, believe it or not.
Yeah.
There was
what too? They brought Celie's character to kind of a whole new world, right? And they let you see the possibilities after her, gaining her courage and empowering herself. And they let you see the possibilities. The original kept you wondering, right? This one,
did she blossom? Did she? Yeah.
Did she do anything?
Empowerment? Yeah.
Right. And I think those are the things that you love about the creative genius that just went ahead and did this, fiction of the new one. So kudos. And I will say, the last thing I'll say is the Oscars is not going to be worth watching until they change the voting structure and allow more people, much more diverse. This is still the old regime, and I'll just leave it at that. That's voting.
Right.
And the old regime has their own idea of what they want to see in movies.
Exactly.
And it does not include the creative genius that you've seen so many other artists now come to the table with. And until the old regime is gone, I'm saying it. I don't care. I'm standing on it. The Oscars are not going to be worth seeing.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to comment on the comment that Melvin put up, and he said that they're not going to make it, or they shouldn't. Believe me, if they thought about making a movie type musical about The Color Purple, there's going to be others. That is going to be one of them. And I am waiting to see what the response is. Not so much that it probably wouldn't be great. I'm sure it would be. But I want to know what the response is. Because I'm waiting for them to make the same kind of decision or some similar decision that says that just didn't do it for us. Because I want to know what is going to do it for you if that didn't do it for you. Is it based on color? I mean, listen.
She throwing it out there.
And wait, let me just play this real quick.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the individual speakers, commentators, guests, experts, and or hosts. They do not explicitly or necessarily reflect nor represent the network, broadcaster, channel, and or program's policy or the views held by this network, broadcaster, channel, or program. The network, broadcaster, channel, or program cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program.
Just had to put this disclaimer out there.
that is our very own Brandy Johnson, the connector. I just wanted y'all to really pay attention to how she started off when she said disclaimer.
Right.
And paused. She just want to let you know.
That's right.
What you get ready to hear might not be what
you want to hear.
That's right. So we just had to put that out there, right? But this is a great segue into and you guys kind of wrapping up the Oscars and not supporting the Oscars right now, and it being, the opinions of the old regime and how they vote. To kind of segue into Taraji P. Henson and her very emotional statements about, the fight that it takes to really get paid your due when it comes to your talent in the industry when you are of dark skin, right? And I'll just leave it at that. A different culture, different race, different skin color, and how and a woman, because we got to mention that too, because when there's a disparity between women and men in the industry as well. And she just, there was an outburst from her just talking about how hard it is and how much of a struggle it is and how much of a fight it is to get paid in the industry what you're worth.
And is that plea any different from, and I don't know, Tracy, it's your fault, I think, because you're making me play two ends against the middle a lot today. But is that plea any different from when the women's soccer team made the same plea?
No, it's the same.
Is it any different from the Olympics training camp as meant for the women as opposed to the men?
It's the same plea. It's the same plea that the WNBA has when it comes to against the NBA. It's the same. It's the same plea where women are regarded.
It's the same plea. I face it. I've faced it in education for the last 30 years. It's the same plea.
Yeah. I faced it in the finance industry.
It's ridiculous. I was CFO for one of the largest districts in New Jersey, and I had one of the lowest salaries by number of students in the district. I had the lowest salary in the state in comparison to people with not even with 1/40th of the population that I was with, and they getting hundreds, thousands more than I was. It is rampant. It's still an issue throughout. And I would say globally, because globally there's even more disparity because there's globally you can see just women being treated as second-class citizens, if even that. I think it's just something that's just disgusting. I think it's something that we still are fighting. There's still not enough movement for it, and it's sad because you're talking about some of the in all of these things, some of the best people. We were just talking about the WNBA and the NBA. Steph Curry now has challenged Sabrina Ionescu to a 3-point challenge because she is the holder of the best 3-point challenge. Right?
Nice.
Now, right. So now showing that when you can pair them up, they're still, the talent is the same. So he wants to break her record now. You know what I'm saying? So
and kudos to him, right? Because we got to say this. Kudos to him for wanting to make that public, for having the courage to step out and say, I'm going to go against this woman who has a better record than I do, so that we can have this challenge, because then that makes people see, right, that the talent is the same, right? Doesn't matter if you're male or female, the talent is the same. So kudos to him for wanting to make this public and bringing this competition front and center at the NBA, not the WNBA too, because we know that the NBA gets more recognition. So
absolutely. Let's bring her right on in. Exactly.
Yeah. So bringing that kind of recognition, that's what it's going to take, is for people to stand up. To not allow it.
Absolutely.
To be able to say no. If you're not going to do this, there's been many an actor, and I applaud them, that has said, if they're going to be paid this, I want my salary. I forget. I think it was Matt Damon, I believe. I think it was Matt Damon. I forget what movie, but his co-star was not making enough. He said, no. She's going to have to make. I forget what it is. I'll look it up. But that's what needs to happen. More people need to stand up to the inequities that too many people are facing. Right. You should never have to be. Her talent carries a movie. That means that you need to pay them for what they're going to bring to the movie.
Yeah. And Melvin brings up great points here. Like Taraji's getting paid less than her white counterparts, right? And is she getting more than other Black women? That remains to be seen, something that we would need to research. It remains to be seen, right? But it depends on, what position you're taking in that particular movie too. But that's an interesting comment as well. Like, does she get more than other
You
Black
would hope so. You would hope so, because usually the industry, they give you for what, what your worth is in the sense of how many people can you bring to the movie? What does your name garner in terms of as the headliner? And she was definitely one of the headliners. More people know Taraji P. Henson than, unfortunately, than Fantasia Barrino. They just know
Right.
Taraji is. They knew. I mean, she was one of the biggest headliners in that. So my hope is that she did get a little more than the other actors, but at the same time, it's still a disparity. It's still not enough. It's still not being paid. One person, I have to give him his applause. They said Tyler Perry pays you well for your words for anything you do with Tyler Perry. So kudos to Tyler Perry. He's another one that stands up for the industry.
Right. And even in that respect, there's always someone who will, make a comment that's trying to, that'll try to tear that down and saying he can because he owns his studio and he can make those type of payments or pay his people those type of salaries. But what difference does that make? Why is that a different? Because his studio any less than, well, I better not say the names, but any less than the others who own theirs as well, who've been in business for years?
Is that as an owner, as an executive, producer, and owner, he's made decisions. This is how I'm going to represent my company. Absolutely. This is how I'm going to treat the people that work with me. That's like those great companies out there, those Fortune 100 companies who have made decisions. I'm going to treat my employees as if they are worth it because they are. That same mantra, and more people need more people need to do it.
Absolutely, and it should be based on experience, right? Like that's really what it should be based on. Level of experience, what you bring to the table. Like you said, with the entertainers, it's based on what they bring to the table, and it should be that way across the board.
And how many times have box office numbers surprised us? How many times? So you can't base this salary that I'm going to offer you on what I think box office numbers are going to be.
Come on now. Because
base it off my discography or my typography or my videography. Don't pay me what I'm worth. Don't pay me what you think this movie's gonna make.
Exactly. And I love that you point that out, Shima, because the truth of the matter is because we have not, hear this one, not been given top billing on so many different movies, have not been given the opportunity to carry a movie like that. When the Black Panther came out, they did not know if Black Panther,
no idea,
Black cast could carry that. They are one of the top movies ever in the industry, ever. Surpassed the $1 billion record far quicker than most movies have ever, the ones that did it. So, I got my church voice. So that's another piece that we don't have enough history or enough, exposure to even see what we can do with a movie if given the chance. So I think you also gotta be able to be open. Well, if I'm gonna give these stars it, I'm gonna give those stars it too.
And what is so wrong with once you found out? Because listen, whether you pay me in the beginning or you pay me at the end, I'm gonna be okay with it. So now you found out it is a box office hit. Maybe you should make a little retribution.
Well, I would hope, and this is for any actors out there, I would hope that there's a certain percentage that comes off the sales also, not just a set amount. Yeah. I would hope, and if not,
I hope that's not set.
Renegotiating your contracts.
And it didn't. And unfortunately, it doesn't. I was just reading about Terrence Howard for Hustle and Flow. Hustle and Flow was amazing. That was one of the movies us people could relate to. It made $22 million. He got paid $14,000 for that movie.
You mean to tell me you couldn't come back and give me a million, $500,000, $250,000?
$22 million it made. $14,000 is what he got.
Come back
again. Unfortunately, too many people, and I think this is part of it. And who, and I could appreciate this. Sometimes you accept the opportunity as just that.
Yeah.
You don't have the leverage to negotiate, like you mentioned, Tracy. Sometimes you just take it as the opportunity to get exposure.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't even have gotten, the exposure, the chance to do it anyway. Yeah. I think a lot of people have settled.
I'm gonna put this out there. Get yourself a good attorney start renegotiating those contracts, people. And we're going to take a quick commercial break before we move on, everybody out there. So stay tuned. We want you to stay right here. We are talking hot topics today. Don't go anywhere. Here we go. And we are back. So we've been talking hot topics, and let's get into another hot topic. I know that the conversation about entertainers and the actors and the actresses and the disparity with the payment. I know that's got everybody emotional because we want to see people get their due. Definitely do. And I'm going to show some of the comments, the other comments before we stop this topic. But Oscar nominations are not about the reception. It's about the Hollywood elite in the scene already making decisions. And yeah, we're surprised. No, not really surprised, but
not really. We're hopeful that they would change, and they haven't.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to do gestures.
Yes.
Puppet masters. That's my new thing, man. The puppet masters. And we got to be, let me just say this. We as a people need to be more aware of the puppet masters in our life. We all have them. We all are part of systems. Any system, most of the systems out there have puppet masters. And I will say this, that is kind of what Cat Williams was alluding to in his thing. There are puppet masters out there that are controlling a lot of systems, and in controlling the system, they control the money.
And I will say the rebuttal did mention that also, right? Because I gotta put that out there. He talked about, we're subjected to a system where we lack control, right? That's set up for us to fail as a people. So I want to just mention that because there was truth in what he was saying in that regard, right? Definitely truth in that regard.
Yeah, so, and the puppet masters, and I love that. You have to be aware of the puppet masters. Speaking of puppet masters, let's talk about number 54, the biggest puppet master out there today.
Ooh, number 45. 45.
Oh, 45. Did I say 54, 45?
Yes, 45.
I get confused, I get confused with those things.
Reverse that.
And we don't want him coming back then either.
Oh gosh, I don't even want to talk about that. Now that's going to be a whole 5 topics if we get that open. I still don't know what people don't see, but anyway.
Yeah, number 45 has been ordered to pay $83 million in a defamation lawsuit. Yes, ring the bell on that one. That he vows to appeal. Just so we mentioned that as well. So what are your thoughts there? There's so many thoughts on this one.
Besides the fact that he said she don't look like anybody I would date. You didn't date her. You raped the lady.
You sexually harassed her. That's what you did, you idiot. I mean, just
so now you got well, good. I'm glad you didn't date her. That's the best 800. What? How much? $800 million. $83 million horrible date ever.
And what I loved about her comment, what I loved about, we know if she ever gets to see that money, that'd be a miracle because he gonna make sure he pulls that out and prolongs the whole process. So that's what that she already knows she ain't probably gonna see that in her lifetime. That being said, I love her comment. She's going to make sure that she does that with that money whatever he hates the most.
Mm.
That's what she said.
I didn't see that comment.
Yes, she's
Give it all to Biden.
They interviewed her on, I think it was NBC, and she said, whatever he hates the most, that is what I'm going to use the 83 million
I
for.
love that.
I love it. She said something with women's rights, something he can't stand.
Yes.
That's where I'm putting the money.
I love that. Yeah, we don't understand it either, Melvin.
We don't know why either.
Clueless.
We don't understand it either.
I don't.
But it's happening.
What is happening?
This,
what people
and just to mention, this is a civil suit, right? So it's not a criminal suit. So
unfortunately, this one is civil. This one is civil.
Yeah.
But it's I think the 83 is representative of the number of women he has abused, misused, raped, spoke poorly about. He has no respect for women. He has no respect for people that really.
And, okay, we just got to put something on that. Allegedly, let's just put that out there.
It's not alleged. I mean, that's the verdict. It's a verdict.
Right.
It's a civil suit, though. It is a civil suit, and we've mentioned some criminal acts. So allegedly, we're gonna put that out there. Allegedly.
Well, the original case, he did rape her.
Okay.
So he was convicted of abuse.
Yeah, they're basing
That's not alleged.
On
it may not be all the women. He allegedly did it to all the rest of them. The court said he did it to that one.
Okay, but it's civil. It's civil. It's
not because they couldn't.
So allegedly,
he didn't get charged with anything. I understand that.
Right.
But he said that. But it was an act that was done.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna be correct on here. We're just gonna be correct on here.
That's why they were able to bring the civil suit. No. That's why they were able to bring the civil suit because it was proven.
It wasn't
criminal. Then you take it
that
civil.
He did it. He just wasn't charged for it.
Okay. And that's why I'm saying we're going to continue to say allegedly because he was not charged criminally. We're going to leave it at that.
We have to agree to disagree.
We agree to disagree on that one, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I mean that was why. Well, a judge can't award unless something happened. So the judge had to base it on something that happened and then award. So it's not alleged. So the judge's award is based on the damages done from what he did. So that was proven. So that's where the 83 million comes from.
No, I got that part. I'm with you on that. We're not incurring anything on FEM Talk. That's why. Let's just put that. Let's just make that clear.
Ep4 comes after us.
We hear to report what was put out in the news. That's all. We're just here to report on what we saw. So I just wanted to make that clear. and she's frozen.
As I'm frozen, I am frozen.
Yes.
I tell you, 54 just did that to me. That's what
he probably did it because you keep calling him 54.
I know. I'm gonna keep on too. 54.
It's 45, 40.
Oh my God.
So let's move over. Let's talk about Super Bowl. Super Bowl Sunday is coming up. It is coming up. It's February 11th, right?
February 11th.
February 11th.
Yay.
Super Bowl Sunday is coming up. So what does everybody think out there about, so much hoopla around the beautiful Taylor Swift when it comes to the NFL, right? And I'm going to say NFL/AFC and her involvement, which not really is any involvement in the game, but her involvement in the games.
She's just another fan, and I think it takes away from the game.
Yeah.
Especially all that these are players that have worked their tails off all year, has hurt, they've been abused, misused, broken bones, I mean, if every game somebody's going into the camp to what is it called? They're going into the concussion protocol, tent, going into the tent for some kind of thing to get hurt. Too many people have put too much time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears, literally, into this game to make it about Taylor Swift now. So I take it for what it's worth. I think you leave it there because I'd rather talk about the people in the game. I'd rather talk about the game and what the game was bringing. I think that's just about a bunch of hoopla. Usher will do the halftime show. She's not coming in to do the halftime show.
Sorry, Swifties, she's not performing.
Not coming in, and and I think you just take it from there. I think it's going to be great. I can't wait to see Usher really but just take it down because I think he's earned it and deserve it, and it's going to be great.
And I'm hoping, and I don't know if they've leaked anything about who else he's bringing, but I am hoping and praying it's a whole ATL mashup. And I hope he builds a whole skating rink out there and just give us everything you can in 30 minutes.
I'm hoping, me too. I'm hoping a couple of people show up to sing one of my favorite songs. I can't wait.
I can't wait.
No, it's not. I mean, there's so many things happening in the game. I mean, let's talk about the game a little bit.
Well, I just wanted to mention, since you're talking about Usher, it was reported that our vice president would like Usher to sing Confessions during the halftime show.
The vice president, go ahead, Kamala. She said,
if I'm gonna make a request, I might as well get what I want.
Yes.
I want Usher solo. No, I don't want Usher solo. I want Usher with
I want him to bring. I want him to bring some fun.
Can I just go dance on stage with Usher like they were doing at his Vegas show? Can I be that girl?
You gotta reach out to the vice president and see if she can make that request.
She can make the appearance and walk on.
Make that happen, please.
Girl, I would say now they'll vote for her, but maybe not.
If we asking for stuff, can FEM Talk just come and be on the sidelines and just
Come on, Usher. We want to come and represent.
Absolutely.
We want to come in the building.
Let us
be granting wishes and stuff.
I will say I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl. I'm kind of upset that my Lamar Jackson didn't make it in again. He kind of fell short one last time. When I believe next time is a charmer. 3 times is a charm, so I believe he'll do his due. But just a little pin on that. I think he's still going to get the MVP. He was still the best quarterback, the best player, bar none, all season. A myriad of things happened in that game, not just about him, but it takes a lot to get to the Super Bowl. That's all I can say. Everybody,
not alone.
It takes a whole team,
and not alone.
Whole team,
exactly.
Not on his back. Exactly.
Not on his back, and they've learned a lot. They can go ahead and do that. He's not the first; it won't be the last quarterback or player that did not get to the Super Bowl yet.
That's right.
And he's young.
The Lions were a perfect example of that, right? They have not won a Super Bowl at all. They were the underdogs. People thought that they were going to do it this year, and the 49ers came back and,
went and got you a plate of food and came back and look.
Exactly.
What happened? What happened? It was. I will say this. My husband and I went back and forth about the call that the coach of the Lions made to not kick the field goal on fourth down, not once but twice.
Yeah.
And Lamont was heated. He says, "You don't do that. They would have been ahead 3 points as opposed to behind 3 points."
That's right.
So we think. We don't know. And my thing was that's what he did it all year. That team was known. They had the most. They went for the most fourth downs that any team has done this year, and that's what got them where they are. What they said, dance with the one that brought you. He stuck to his game plan, and it was funny. It was very split, but a lot of people respected him for doing that. Some hated him for it, but a lot of people did still respect him because he did go for that. So
I just wanted to say on the side note, I don't always dance with the one that brought me, but sometimes it's fun not to dance with.
Not to dance.
That's a different show. That's a different show. I understand.
Well, listen, we have to address this question. Thank you for Melvin for putting that out there. Is the game rigged? Because that has been a conversation this year as well.
With so many caveats. Oh my God.
Absolutely not. It is way too many factors for the game
Absolutely
to be
not.
I mean, Lamont and I talk again. Lamont is the conspiracy theorist, okay? He talks about this all the time. Absolutely not. There's too many people that would have to rig the game. Do you understand? How many people can rig a game? You would have to have 50 on that side, 50 on that side.
Talk about the puppet masters, ma'am.
I don't believe it's not that predictable.
They try to break it down to the colors of the Super Bowl. That they already know who's going to the Super Bowl by the colors that they use.
Absolutely not. I don't believe it's rigged at all. I don't believe it's rigged at all. I think the two best teams came out of it. And you talk about Mahomes and you talk about Purdy. They were top. I mean, now I will say this. Everybody was putting the Kansas City down all year. They did not. Yeah. They did not have the best year. Period. Mm-hmm. Period. They just didn't. Mm-hmm. But I think the Mahomes factor came out. He could win a game. He didn't have to. Every game he won was by a close score. He did enough to win. Mm-hmm. Maybe he didn't have the offense he had last year. He clearly didn't. But he knew how to win with the offense he has now. Him and Kelsey, they're gonna go down in the Hall of Fame for what they're able to do. Yeah. There's too many. You could call it rigged or whatever. I don't believe it. I think that's the thing you want to believe in some respect. Because
when your team loses,
I was gonna say exactly the ones who are sitting on the bench, on the couch, watching.
It was not your team, but I'm like, yeah, come on. This is too many things to add up.
Mahomes and Kelsey are pretty amazing. I will say that. Just watching them, pretty amazing. Sometimes you just look at the athletic skill of some of these players, and it's like, wow, I'm blown away by some of the things that they can do. So,
and trust, if you got and you get on that field and try to catch a football in 10 degrees.
Coming at that speed and coming at that speed.
Right? And see how fixed you think it is. When that guy hits you in the back of your head, you tell me how you think that
your helmet comes off.
Wasn't real. I mean, come on.
What?
Yeah. These guys do way too much conditioning, I know we all probably know. I have a football player in my family. I know what he does every day during the off season just to play. So when you know what they go to play this game and what they do when they are playing, you will quickly be able to say, yeah, it's not fixed. I'm not saying there's not puppet masters that determine the game, but not the game, but things in it, but the game itself and the points, come on, stop it. I just don't do it. But some news out there. One more thing I do want to bring up, and this I don't know how if this is rumor, so maybe this is for next month's hot topic. But there is rumor that Harbaugh, who just got hired as the coach for the LA Chargers, may bring Colin Kaepernick.
All right.
Maybe that's the question we should ask.
Yeah, more to come on that. Can't wait to see what happens there for sure.
So I think he is ready.
Yeah. Ooh. He's been ready.
It's been years. It's been years.
A few years. So we hope that he's kept himself ready.
Yeah, I was gonna say if he's doing what he would normally do if he was playing. And he's keeping his body in shape and ready for the game. Yeah, then hopefully he's ready to do that. And I think we'd be amiss if we didn't mention very quickly some of the commercials, the brands that you're going to see at the Super Bowl this year during the commercials. We've got Fritos, Bud Light, TurboTax, Coors Light, Doritos, State Farms. What did I miss?
M&M, FanDuel, MGM Bet, E-Trade, Toyota, Hellman, Squarespace, Kia, BMW, TurboTax, Dove, Temu, Ford, Chevrolet, Subway.
I love it. I know.
I got to get some of this money.
They weren't doing enough on social media.
And by the way,
if you got a cool $7 million, you can put your commercial at the Super Bowl as well.
There you go. Right. That's a little $7 million. Get you on the list.
That's right. Everybody, this has been a fun Hot Topic show. We thank you for joining us. We thank you for commenting and giving your opinions as well. We love you all out there. Join us next Tuesday evening at 8:30 p.m. We will see you then. Take care.